Picture this, you're at the gate, buzzing with excitement for a trip you've been planning for months. Then an agent pulls you aside. Your carry-on, the same one you've trusted for years, is suddenly a major problem. You're told it has to be checked, and for a fee. A very big fee. This isn't just a bad dream, it's the new reality of flying in 2025. The friendly skies are getting, well, a little less friendly. Airlines are cracking down with shocking new enforcement that's catching thousands of travelers completely off guard. We're not talking about a few bucks here, we're talking about hundreds in unexpected fees, forced gate checks, and the kind of stress that can derail your entire trip before it even begins. What if that power bank in your bag is now considered a banned item? What if your personal item is just an inch too big? What if the cheap ticket you bought doesn't even a carry-on anymore? Airlines aren't exactly shouting these changes from the rooftops, but they're enforcing them with absolutely zero tolerance. But don't worry. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on all the unwritten rules and hidden changes. We'll break down everything you absolutely need to know to walk through that airport with confidence and travel without getting ambushed by fines at the gate. The biggest change in 2025 isn't some brand new rule, but the brutal, iron-fisted enforcement of the old ones. The days of close enough are officially over. That metal box at the gate, the bag sizer, has become the final judge, jury, and executioner for your carry-on. For years, the standard carry-on size for most US airlines has been around 22 inches tall, 14 inches wide, and 9 inches deep. What's new is the crackdown. Major airports like New York's JFK and Chicago's O'Hare are becoming notorious for rigid, zero-tolerance enforcement, turning away bags that are only slightly over the limit. And don't forget, those dimensions include the wheels and handles. Even if your bag's body fits, if a wheel or an extended handle prevents it from sliding in smoothly, you're out of luck. It's not just the main carry-on either. The personal item is facing intense scrutiny. What used to be a loosely defined laptop bag or backpack now has hard limits. American Airlines, for instance, specifies that your personal item must be no larger than 18 by 14 by 8 inches. If it doesn't fit completely under the seat in front of you, it could be reclassified as a carry-on, which creates a whole new set of problems, especially if you already have another carry-on. And this leads us to the biggest trap of all, the basic economy ticket. To lure you in with a low price, airlines have made their basic fares incredibly restrictive. For many domestic flights, a basic economy ticket only entitles you to one personal item. That's it. No carry-on bag for the overhead bin is included. If you show up at the gate with a roller bag, you will be forced to check it. And the gate check fee is almost always higher than what you would have paid online. To make things even more confusing, there's no universal global standard for carry-on size. While most US airlines use similar dimensions, international carriers, especially in Europe, often have much stricter size and weight limits, sometimes as low as 8 to 10 kilograms, or about 17 to 22 pounds. And yes, they are bringing scales out at the gate to check. The game has changed. Your bag is no longer judged by a quick glance, but by the unforgiving dimensions of a metal box. Now let's talk about what's inside your bag, because the rules here are getting more complicated and the consequences more severe. The number one item causing chaos at security in 2025 is the humble power bank. Here's the deal. All portable chargers and spare lithium-ion batteries must be in your carry-on luggage. They are absolutely forbidden in checked bags. This isn't negotiable. The reason is fire risk. If a battery were to overheat and catch fire, the crew needs to be able to access it immediately in the cabin. A fire in the cargo hold could be catastrophic. This isn't just a theory. A real-world incident like the power bank fire on an Air Busan flight in early 2025 has led to even stricter enforcement at security checkpoints. But it's not just where you pack it, it's about its power. The capacity of your power bank is measured in watt-hours, WH. Anything under 100 WH is generally allowed without needing airline approval. For reference, most standard 20,000 mAh power banks fall under this limit. If your power bank is between 100 and 160 WH, you have to get approval from the airline you fly. Anything over 160 WH is strictly banned from passenger aircraft. If your power bank doesn't have the capacity clearly labeled on it, security might just confiscate it on the spot. The same logic applies to smart luggage. If your suitcase has a built-in battery, that battery be removable. If it's not, the bag itself isn't allowed in the cabin. Beyond batteries, the classic rules are still being strictly enforced. The TSA's 311 rule for liquids hasn't gone away. All your liquids, aerosols, and gels must be in containers of 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters or less, and they all have to fit inside a single, clear, quart-sized bag. You are now explicitly limited to only one of these liquid bags per traveler. For international flights, be aware of powders. Any powdered substance over 12 ounces or 350 milliliters might need a separate screening and can be prohibited on certain routes. The message is clear. Aviation authorities are taking fire risk and other hazards more seriously than ever. A quick check of your power bank and how you pack your liquids can save you a world of trouble. The sneakiest rule change of 2025 isn't about safety or security. It's all about your wallet. Airlines have perfected the art of the junk fee, and their primary weapon is the basic economy fare. This is a real-world example happening right now. Air Canada announced that for tickets bought on or after January 3rd, 2025, their lowest basic fare for travel within North America and to sun destinations no longer includes a standard carry-on bag. Passengers only get a personal item. That roller bag you're used to now has to be checked for a fee. If you fail to pay for that bag online and show up at the gate, the fee skyrockets. Air Canada might charge a standard fee of $35 for the first bag, but if you wait until the gate, that fee can jump to $65. United and American also limit overhead bin access with basic economy, and they're among the strictest when it comes to reclassifying personal items. Even Southwest, long famous for letting 2 bags fly free, is changing course. For bookings after May 28, 2025, their lowest fares will no longer include 2 free checked bags, and they're also testing assigned seating. This shift shows how even the most traveler-friendly airlines are tightening their rules. And when Southwest changes, you know it's serious. This creates a classic bait and switch. You search for a flight and see a fantastic low price, but that price is an illusion. Once you add the cost of a carry-on and maybe a checked bag, the total often ends up being more expensive than a standard economy ticket that had everything included from the start. It's crucial to remember the difference. The TSA worries about what's in your bag for safety, while the airline worries about its size and weight for profit. This disconnect is how you end up in that crazy situation where your bag is perfectly fine at the security checkpoint. But the moment you get to the gate, the airline deems it oversized, overweight, or simply not part of your fare, and slaps you with a massive fee. The rules can feel like they're designed to be confusing, because confusion leads to mistakes, and mistakes lead to revenue for them. So how do you navigate this minefield and get on your flight with your money and sanity intact? It all comes down to being prepared. Here is your survival guide for flying in 2025. First, measure and weigh your bag at home. Don't just eyeball it. Use a tape measure and remember to include the wheels and handles. If you fly often, it's worth buying a cheap luggage scale. Knowing your exact stats before you leave home is your single best defense. Second, pack strategically. If you're close to the weight limit, wear your heaviest items. That means putting on the hiking boots and the heavy jacket for the walk onto the plane. It might not be the most comfortable, but it can save you from a hefty overweight baggage fee. Third, when you book, read the fine print. Before you click purchase on that cheap flight, find out exactly what the fare includes. Use flight search tools like Google Flights that let you filter results to include the price of a carry-on. This gives you the real all-in cost and helps you dodge the basic economy trap. Fourth, check the airline's website right before you leave. Don't rely on what the rules were 6 months ago. Policies, especially for baggage, can and do change with very little notice. A 5-minute check on the airline's official carry-on policy page is the most important thing you can do to avoid a nasty surprise. And finally, remember that a bag that looks overstuffed is a target. Even if it technically meets the size limits, a bag that's visibly bulging is just asking for trouble. Using packing cubes can really help compress your clothes and keep your bag looking neat. The rules are changing faster than ever, and the best way we can all stay ahead is to learn from each other. If you've been hit with a surprise baggage fee or had a carry-on rejected, share your story in the comments below. What airline was it and what happened? If you want to avoid getting blindsided at the gate again, hit subscribe. We stay ahead of the airline rule changes so you don't have to. Traveling in 2025 just requires a new level of awareness. The era of assuming your bag is probably fine is over. Stricter enforcement, complex battery rules, and sneaky fees are the new normal. But being prepared is how you win. By measuring your bag, understanding the rules for your specific ticket, and packing with purpose, you take the power back from the airlines. You make sure that your journey begins with excitement, not with a stressful, expensive argument at the boarding gate. Don't let a few inches or a forgotten rule ruin a trip you've been looking forward to for months. Pack smart, stay informed, and travel well.